Well, it happened. We knew it was coming. We were racing and pushing hard to get it done. We got it done in time, and that evening, from the previous video that you guys watched, the rain came. We got about 1.5 to 2 inches of rain. It would have been an absolute nightmare to try to get all of this bulk dirt work done for this land clearing that we're doing, but luckily, we got her done in time. Now, there's still some more work to be done up here dirt work-wise, some culvert installation, so we do need it to dry out a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfectly dry, not like it would for whenever we're pushing the dirt, but we need it to dry out a little bit before we move on to that. But the good news is, there is something else we can work on with this weather, and it's absolutely perfect for this weather. It's a burn pile. Could you get better weather for a burn pile? It's fall, it's raining. Oh yeah, let's see if we can get her going. She's a 3-dayer for sure, but something just moved behind you guys. And I don't know what it is. Something just moved over there. Step one, our fuel tote is empty, so we gotta go get some diesel fuel. Completely unrelated to the burn pile, of course, just something we just happen to need to do this morning. Let me just scoot this over. Here, buddy. There we go. Here we go. Fuel's just for the Mini. You probably thought it was for something else. That's just the Mini. We got those straw bales laying on the backside. We'll get them lit and we'll pull this stuff down on top of it. Give her some air, make sure we got her going good. Then we'll just pile it on as high as we can pile it on. It always blows my mind how hot this raw straw burns, you know, no additives. You know, that'd be, who's doing that? It's just good old straw. What's leaking? Oh no, there's propane coming out of my hose. That's not good. Okay, hold on, we gotta come up with another plan. I'd be very surprised if just the lighter did it, but fella could try. It's wild, you know? You wouldn't think it. Okay, it's lit. It's lit. That's crazy. Straw just burns so hot. So hot. Watch out over there, fellas. Don't want to knock you over this early in the game. There's There's just nothing better to do on a rainy day, especially this time of year when it's cool out. That's what I'm looking for. Get these bigger logs on there. Things I really got to pay attention to, you see that right there, and there's some other stuff. We've really got to watch these hoses right here. Really worst case scenario would be snagging one of these hoses on something like that, breaks the hose off, rips the fitting, and then pours profusely under pressure onto the pile of fire. That, we don't want that. That's not good. Cooking. One thing I'm looking for whenever I find a spot to burn, I don't want to damage any canopy, so we're wide open. We're ways away from that tree, that tree's beautiful. Big old oak, huge canopy. We got a couple sycamores right here. They don't look the healthiest anyway, but we're out in the open between them, so it shouldn't cause any top damage. You can see we're getting some upward movement through the leaves there. So we may scorch those right there, but overall, not bad. And this will be a relatively easy spot to just kind of disperse all the ashes and everything when we're done. We're getting a lot of soot on the machine, but that's all right. You guys missed it. A tree fell out of the pile and smacked my counterweight. Got lucky on that one. Camera died though, so it's a shame. On this side, it can be hard to tell if you're getting too hot when you're inside a cab, or if the machine's getting too hot. But with my window open, I've still got a good register of what that heat's doing over there. Now, we're sacrificing some protection from a disaster, but guess the best I can do with this stump is get it somewhat close. And if we're lucky, I can get it to full. Oh, get that out of there before it smacks me. If we're lucky, we can maybe get it to flip a little bit here. Maybe. Maybe not. Well, all right. That's better than nothing. Got some of these smaller stumps, see if we can't get those up on top. Oh gosh. Okay. We're close to it as we can here. Yeah. That's pretty close to the top. Upside down would be a little better, but take what we can get. Oh yes. Love it. Oh, she's cooking. She's cooking good. Hot, okay. We can't stand here long, but look, it's hot, see it? Woo. Slowly just keeps working its way through the pile. And here in probably an hour or so, we'll hopefully be able to flop everything in. I was just doing a little walking on the property. This place, beautiful. All floodplain, very low level here. The building spot we cleared up there is pretty much the only building spot option. But the rest of the acreage here, even though they can't build on it, it's just beautiful, man. They've got a lot of frontage of this creek here. And this creek is navigable. I believe there's buoys, I'm gonna say another quarter mile back yet, but that's navigable. You can boat that and you'll see boats come through here all the way to the river. Fella could build a dock back here, hop on their pontoon whenever they want and just, nope, river's that way, just cruise on out. It's hard to scale the size of the trees on this property when you're out by yourself, but just look at this oak tree next to the Mini. Incredible. That stump just cooking. Spend any time hanging out over the fire for sure. Just quick grabs, drops, that kind of thing, trying to get it towards the center where it's hotter. Beautiful. So all this material here, this is just like roots, leaves, the super thin layer, that woods layer that whenever we were clearing everything, a bunch of organic matter, this kind of stuff. You're not gonna get it to burn in this state, but whenever we get everything consolidated in and that pile is nice and tight and as hot as it can possibly get, this will start to go around. It'll dry it out, start cooking it off, and it just slowly gets pushed in on top of the pile. It'll be the last thing on top of the pile, and then that thing will just sit and smolder for, I mean, probably weeks, honestly. The point is, while that's cooking down, I'm gonna get in the skid steer and go ahead and just start kind of getting this stuff moved around a little bit. I know it's just a low horsepower wheeled skid steer, but that thing continues to just impress me in ways that I did not think it would do. It's time to come to this side and do the same thing we did over there. Try to get everything thrown in best we can. because we're sitting right here, we'll just go ahead and use the Mini to throw some of this dirt what we can reach. So I want to show you something. This wasn't on the original scope of work. Oh, looky there. We got a friend down there. I'll show you him too. But I don't think in good conscience I can leave this where it's at. I feel like I need to do something with it. I don't even want to walk right here, to be honest with you. When we were pushing that pad last week, this dead treetop right here fell off of that. Well, they're kind of in line. There's two of them there. They're old ash trees that were killed by the beetles. Not the band, the bug. This used to be on top of that. This one and that part of it used to be on top of that one. Well, that fell last week, and I think it hit this and it knocked it off. But if you look at it, like I said, that was on top of that. So there's no root structure here. She's just leaning, and she's just hanging in the top of this maple. And barely at that, just barely hanging. She's not caught up in a crotch or anything. It's just on the ends of those branches. And I just keep getting distracted by this turtle, if I'm being honest. Look at the little feller. Huh? Just enjoying the weather. It's a beautiful morning. It's not on the original scope. It's not on the original bid. It's not, I mean, you're talking 15 minutes for me to just plop that down and at least get it on the ground. The right thing to do here is to get that on the ground, because the whole reason they have this property, just showing you how beautiful it is so they can walk around and enjoy it when they're down here. And gravity is always on. Let's check on that fire, get it thrown together, and then we're gonna come up and try not to die, you know? Would you believe me if I told you there was nothing left in there? That is how you do a burn pile. I mean, there's just nothing. Pretty good. Well, let me get the machine fired up. Now, we'll get all the big chunks piled together. for my next trick. Gotta shove this in there real deep like. Now watch where I kneel. There's still a lot of coals in here. We'll just leave that go. Let it cook. Eventually, we'll get enough heat pushing up through all that junk and that moisture. You can see the moisture cooking off the outside of it. Eventually, she'll come right up through the middle. Let's let that cook for a little bit. There's 2 bars left on that battery. We'll come back and throw it all together. Look at the smoked NATO. Isn't that fancy? See if we can sneak up this trail and go take care of that one dead tree up there real fast. Just a lovely little stroll through the woods. Okay, all right, I guess we're going this way now. Little buddy's gone. No, he's not. He's right there. He didn't go very far. Okay, hold on. Hold on. I know. You're gonna be so frustrated, but here. That's government property. All right. That is one concern. You see this T-post? We're looking right down the line. Okay. Well, that's one concern. Concern number 2 is it's somewhere there. There's a weak joint. We try to push on it. It takes more pressure than that joint can hold to get it off the top. It breaks in half and goes away. I don't want it to go. I don't know, concern 3. I'm sure you can come up with something. But the idea, we're just gonna try to push it off that top gently so it gets off of it and just wherever she wants to go. We're not gonna fight her, that's for sure. Okay. All right, let's see what happens. I can't leave that thing sit like that. Concern 3 is since the bottom's not actually attached to anything, it slides too. There you go. I gave you 3. I gave you 3 things to worry about. Be good to me, baby. Be good to me. Look at that, nature's confetti. How fun. Oh man, do I feel better about that. Okay. That's the fun thing about trees in the fall. It's just, there's confetti every time. Let's make sure there's nothing crazy hanging. Looks like everything's down. The top took a little damage, but from where I stand, I can't see anything broken on that maple, so that's good. Well, time will tell on that. All right, we're not cleaning it up, but we'll just stack it and get it out of the way for now. We're out the battery. That is perfect. I think our gutter's a little shorter. off my bucket. Come on, thank you. Well, that is it for this one. This is the final thing of this cleanup, but we'll let that cook for a couple weeks, and whenever we come in here, we'll probably rent Dirt Perfect's skid steer and his power rake, because I can't run that power rake on that skid steer. Whenever we polish everything up and we do the seed and straw, then we'll bust this out, what's left of it, and power rake it around, seed and straw. But that's what we're down to. Not too bad considering everything we had, and a lot of what we have in here right now, let's carefully grab this, yep, is just pretty much dirt anyway. So here in a couple weeks, that'll just be a pile of topsoil with a couple little sticks sticking out. If it's your first Captain Kleeman video, welcome to the channel. Welcome to this build. Next time we are back on this build, it's got to dry out a little bit. We'll be doing some culvert installation and stonework, and then the final step will be the seed and straw we were talking about. If you've been with us for a while, then you'll be excited to know that we're going to be back on the Ford 555 in the next video, which I know sounds wild because we have so many other things to be working on. If you've been with us for a while, then you know my camera just died on that outro on top of the 304 excavator. But also, you'll be excited to know we'll be back on the Ford 555 on the next video. I know that seems crazy. Shouldn't we come back and finish this? It's gonna be too wet to come back here. It needs to dry out just a little bit, just a skosh. And shouldn't you be on the YouTube yacht? Well, I had the tool to start on the siding, and then the guy called the other day. He's like, hey, I had a random job pop up. It's his tool. Can I borrow it for a week? Again, it's his tool. So he meant, can he have it back since it's his? Absolutely. He'll be done with it end of this week, and then we'll be back on the YouTube yacht. So a Ford 555 video sprinkled in the middle, and we should actually have it up and running and driving around. So that'll be exciting. And then back to this on the YouTube yacht. That's what we got. Holy, that rhymed. Did you hear that? That was incredible. This guy, I'm telling you. Look at that limb hanging in that sycamore I just noticed. Is that sycamore dead?